Today at Lorenzo's Fast Flow. We're going behind the scenes to see what kind of cars Lorenzo has lined up for restoration. Some familiar, and some a little different. Afterwards, Lorenzo reads some questions that were left in the comments section. And now, let's turn it over to a man who plays a big role behind the scenes.
Hi, my name's Everett. One of my responsibilities is to manage all the cars that Lorenzo restores at one time. These cars, and there's all kinds of, we're bringing them back to life. This is, right here is a frame for a 68 El Camino that we're redoing. It's a frame off restoration. You can look, we put new brake lines in it. We take the frame off, we vapor blast it, which is just sandblasting with adding water. Keeps the dust down, much safer for people. We'll do various treatments from powder coat to Rust-Oleum to epoxy primers on the frame, depending on the builds. This one, we put a 396 in. We've already dynoed it. Put out around 450 horse, which is just a great street engine. We'll put a 700 R4 in it. Car has a 12-bolt rear. Most likely we'll put something in the 373 range posi as the rear. Car also has coilover suspension that we added. Typically what we'll do is we'll set up the front end with coilover. We'll wait later to put the back in. Reason for that is we want the whole body is put on the thing. We want to have everything in place to set our ride height. It's kind of impossible with coilovers to do them both at the same time. So we do the front, then wait for the back. All these cars will have all new bushings. They'll have all new body mounts. You can see the retrofit. You can see the new emergency brake cables. Every line will be changed. Right here, you can see we're getting ready to put a new rear in it. You can see our custom, that's a joke folks, spring, because we haven't, so we just put a block of wood in there to move the vehicle around. Since we're not building a race car or anything, we have custom standard fuel lines installed. Since this car is going to put out about 450 horse, it does put out 450 horse. It's going to be a little bit of a rocket ship. People don't realize, they say 500, 600, 700 horsepower. These cars typically came with 275 horsepower stock. Now it's going to be double. So they're going to run really good, and they'll get better fuel mileage than the original ones. This is the body, 68 El Camino. We replaced the whole bed. We put a whole new floor in it. Quarters are original. We put door skins on it. Original fenders. We did not have the original hood, so we're putting an aftermarket hood on it. These aftermarket panels, you have to be really good with metal to get them to fit properly. We consider ourselves, and it's a bit old school, really good with metal. Makes a big difference. Young guys, they just don't have the experience. Panels are replaced now. And I keep going back compared to the old days when the first aftermarket panels came in, they didn't fit worth a lick. These are a lot better. And you have to pick and choose which manufacturers you use. And there's a multitude of companies out there. Just read the reviews and you can pick one. I really don't want to push any company right now, though we have our favorites. This is not while it's a restoration, this isn't the restoration that you're going to take to a car show looking for points. We will install a modern air conditioner in it. People don't need to be out there trying to find the old Freons and stuff like that. This is a car that can actually put a tow hitch on it and tow your boat and stuff like that. This is a car, though I would recommend taking care of the bed, that if you had to go pick up firewood, you can go do it. If you want to take a long trip, if you want to drive down south, you want to go up north, you want to go anywhere, take this car. It's going to run just as good as a new one. This is a 71 Chevelle SS original 350, 300 horse. It is a true SS car. We knew it was an SS car by looking at it, but we couldn't prove it till we found the build sheet in terrible condition under the back seat. Luckily, the parts that were preserved showed that it was an SS car. This vehicle all new floors, all new trunk lid. One thing that we do is unique on our vehicles is instead of just a regular undercoating, I spray our underneath with bed liner material. It's incredibly durable, gives you a much better look, stands up to over time, and it just makes for a better build. Something you have to understand about these cars, I mean, I was born in 1956. I dealt with these when I was a teenager. They were rusting right out of the gate and up here in the Northeast. It isn't like it took 50, 60 years for these things to get in the condition they're in. They were bad then. It was nothing to see in 1972, 73, a 68 Chevelle come in where the front fenders were already rotted out, quarter panels were rotted out. They just didn't have the techniques at the time for the rust proofing like they do now. Anytime we do a frame off restoration, car goes right on the rotisserie. We have multiple rotisseries. You can see, makes it a lot easier. Block out the tops, block out the sides, repair gutters, plus the wheels on these things are so huge, they makes it easy to roll around. Got to put it in the booth, got to take it out of the booth, move it over here, move it over to metal, you know, make sure it's primered properly. Great system. We love rotisseries. This vehicle is a 57 Chevy Bel Air, no post. We got it sadly from a widow. The gentleman had been working on it for quite a long time. We come across these a lot. I consider it a bit of bad karma not to continue with what they were trying to achieve. Sometimes they'll say, well, I'm going to change this. Like this one had a late model Vortec V8 350. We're putting a 427 with a small blower in it. We love big blocks. Lorenzo builds the best big blocks in the country, bar none. But he wanted it orange. That was his favorite color. We put the white roof on it, but we kept it orange. It's bad karma to change a color. I have a thing. Sometimes we paint some colors, and I'm like, well, that's what he wanted. That's what it's going to be. The metal work done on it was excellent. We had to do very little. The guy was really good at metal work. It wasn't as straight as I needed it to be, so we went over every panel closely. It's one thing that I consider myself really good at. When I get done, the car's straight as an arrow. These new modern materials, compared to what I had to work with in the 70s and 80s, are night and day. These vehicles, the materials at the time were horrible compared to what you have now. On the flip side, where you can paint a car for $300 or $400 in those days, this vehicle will probably have about $4,000 worth of primer and paint on it by the time we're done. They're amazing materials, but they're ridiculously expensive. And I don't care who you are, when you go in and you pick up this stuff and you see how much it is, you have supreme sticker shock. So we look forward to this vehicle. It's a timeless design. Lorenzo raced early 50s, he raced a 55. This is the kind of car you can go anywhere, people are just ooh and ah. There aren't many 50s cars you can say that. The 55s, the 57s, everybody goes crazy. In my opinion, if you want to see an ugly car, I hate to insult some people, go find yourself a 58 or 59. They just changed everything and it didn't stick. Every once in a while, we'll take something a little bit out of the norm. I really like, for some reason, the early Triumphs, 68 to about 73. This is a 69 Spitfire. We did a previous video. This car is going to be a sharp little car. One thing Lorenzo is amazing at is tuning these vehicles. You won't see many videos where they'll take a 6-cylinder Triumph and put it on a dyno, but it's essential that we do that after we do it. Because tuning these carburetors, which is not difficult if you understand them, is impossible if you don't. And we get so many cars where, oh, one of the carburetors isn't working, or I can't do this, and they just don't understand them. And there aren't many people left that do understand them. Lorenzo is one of them. There was a gentleman who builds Austin Healey's in the Philadelphia area, and he came to Lorenzo, and just through carburetor changes and modifications, Lorenzo was able to get an extra 50 horsepower out of these vehicles. They were starving for fuel. In a little car like this, 50 horsepower is like adding 500 horsepower to like a big Chevelle or something. They turn into little rocket ships. So pay attention to this. If you're a Triumph aficionado, you may learn some stuff, especially on the carburetor tuning. This car is a 67 Mustang. I have to admit, it was a total wreck when it came in. A young man that works for us named Micaiah, it's his car. He's a junior in high school now. He did all the metal work. At the time he started this vehicle, he was 13 years old, working in his parents' garage, little tiny garage, with a Harbor Freight welder and some metal snips, and watching YouTube. And he is truly an artist. As I mentioned earlier, I'm 68 years old. I've seen some incredible metal workers. I will put him up against anybody. I started to help him with the car. Being young, he had no concept of how to get something straight. And I worked with him piece by piece, and I've never seen anybody pick up what I could teach him right away. He was desperate, he didn't know what to do. So I've been letting him, while he's in school, come on in, work on the vehicle. I actually met him through Lorenzo. He went in and worked for Lorenzo last summer, and I just saw something in him. And you're gonna love the work he does. Car's just a 6-cylinder, but this is gonna be his first driver. He doesn't have his driver's license back. So he wanted to go out there and get a car, and I said, no, you're fixing this car, and we're gonna get it done. Kind of reminds me when I was doing my first vehicles when I was 16. So we're gonna shoot a few videos of this. You can meet Micaiah, and you're gonna be really impressed that some kid can do what he can do. And there's a trend nowadays where the old guys are saying these young kids can't do what we used to do. And a lot of it is because they never had the chance. Employment rules have changed. When I was a kid, you could go get a job in a body shop or garage at a moment's notice. They paid us cash under the table. Nobody worried about the liability if they got hurt or this or that, and the world's changed. So kids aren't getting an opportunity. Plus these new cars, compared to the old stuff, are a nightmare to work on. This is an example of there are young people out there that have an incredible amount of talent and can get some stuff done. Something about these cars and the people that we buy them from, I am astounded at the skill set of customers that come into Lorenzo's or the people who have restored these cars. The time and effort and the skill for people who aren't in the car business has always impressed me. The older I get, the more I'm like, my God. As I said earlier, a lot of people don't know how much Lorenzo puts into these vehicles, how much of the passion that goes with it, how we sit at meals and talk about the vehicles like a bunch of teenage kids. We're not gonna try to turn this channel into this is how you do this and this is how you do that. What we want to do is show people stuff getting done. I'm hoping the experience that I have, plus what Lorenzo has, Lorenzo's brothers, a gentleman named Dave Preston, who you're going to meet a lot more, Chris from No Nonsense, an incredible talent in his own right. Anybody who watches the videos and you're watching him fix his cars, you say he really knows what he's doing. It's so important to know, and we're above the Philadelphia area. It is so much talent around here, even people who are in the car business. And the amount of cars that if we ever had them come out of the garages would astound you of what people collected, what people had, what they did to their vehicles, how they'll buy even a vehicle from us and just keep improving on it. And just make better changes because it's such a fun thing to do. Yes, it's great to go to car shows on Saturdays and Sundays, but to be able to go places and drive these cars, we feel that's the most important thing. You can build these cars so perfect that if you drive them, you devaluate them. We never want that. That is silly. We're car people. We're a car country, and that's what we build. Thank you for watching this. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. My name is Everett. You won't be seeing a huge amount of me. I'm kind of camera shy, but you'll get to see what we're working on. And thank you very much.
And now, Lorenzo answers your questions. What are you going to do with the Sneaky Pete supercharger?
I want to pull it apart and I want to put some seals in it. I'll check out the bearings to see how they look. The blower is brand new, but it's old, so that's why I want to replace the seals, and we'll build an engine for it. This particular blower was originally sold to John Force, and John Force never used it because they outlawed magnesium blowers. So then it went back to Sneaky Pete's place, and he was building a motor for a guy that it was supposed to go on, a small block Chevy. And I ended up purchasing the whole engine, the block, the cylinder heads, which were 461s that were all ported. The block I'm not going to use because he had it like 3 over, 60 over. I guess they ran the pistons really loose back then because, you know, they were probably running them pretty lean and hot.
Gray Sandblaster looks like a zero blast and peen unit?
Yes, it is a zero bead and peen machine. I've had it since I opened. It does a great job, so I'm sticking with it.
For No Nonsense No House 396, what head casting number did you port, assuming you used 2.19 and 1.88 valves?
They're 215 castings, closed chamber iron oval ports with the bigger oval ports, and we're keeping the standard exhaust valve, which is a 1720. I always keep the smaller valve on the exhaust side because the inch and 880 valve is way, way, way too big. But that's just how they were doing things back then. And we're using the 2190 high performance that would be in a rectangular port head for the intake side, and we blended the bowls. All right, Colin, that's enough of this. I have to get to work now. We're done, cut.